Hello everybody and welcome back one last time inside the world's worst movie theater, and it's looking pretty good. Like, it is time for me to start getting going here, because as you can tell, you can't tell from here, but I'm literally sitting outside because the theater that I've been in has been completely destroyed except for this one little area. So yeah, this thing's probably not going to last too much longer, but we have a lot to get to here. So before we get to my number one worst movie of all time, here's a rundown of some movies on the other list that I've done of some of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. Number 10, Gods of Egypt. The girl, just a really bad movie with terrible CG. The Girl on the Train, Pop Star, Never Stop, Never Stopping, Zoolander 2, Keeping Up with the Joneses, The Huntsman, Winter's War, Norm of the North, Collateral Beauty, that god-awful Will Smith movie that came out in 2016. A sequel nobody was asking for, Independence Day Resurgence, Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice, Beauty and the Beast, the 2017 remake, Smurfs the Lost Village, The Fate of the Furious, Alien Covenant, Guy Ritchie's King Arthur, The Legend of the Sword, The Snowman, that god-awful movie, The Snowman, A Cure for Wellness from Gore Verbinski, the Tom Cruise Mummy movie, Monster Trucks, yeah, remember that one, Ghost in the Shell, featuring the star of my number one worst movie I've ever seen in my life, The Cloverfield Paradox, Pacific Rim Uprising, the Fantastic Beasts trilogy, the Predator, the Shane Black movie, which is just such a disappointment because Shane Black was on it, and talk about a major disappointment. Sandra Bullock's Bird Box, one of the most overrated movies of all time. Woody Woodpecker, the direct-to-video Woody Woodpecker movie that came out in 2018. Skyscraper with Dwayne Johnson, A Wrinkle in Time. Action Point, Johnny Knoxville starring in that one. The Nutcracker and the Four Realms, that was another bad one. Ugly Dolls, Breakthrough, Noelle, The Sun Is Also a Star, Gemini Man, Wonder Park, Dark Phoenix, Terminator Dark Fate, Men in Black International, Cats, God, what a mess that was. And then stuff like Antebellum, Tyler Perry's A Fall from Grace, Ashtray Bitch, American Pie Presents Girls Rule, Downhill, The Lovebirds, Fantasy Island, The Murder of Nicole Brown Simpson, Artemis Fowl, 365 Days, those terrible movies, Like a Boss, that terrible Tiffany Haddish, Rose Byrne, Salma Hayek comedy, which should have been much better than it actually was, but that movie was complete garbage. America, the Motion Picture, The Little Things, Thunder Force, Spirit Untamed, The Last Duel, bad Ridley Scott movie, What Do You Expect? Reminiscence, basically Transcendence 2021. Infinite, Mark Wahlberg starring in that terrible movie with Antoine Fuqua. Dear Evan Hansen, which I just named as one of the worst movies of the decade so far. Sia's Music, another one of the movies I had on my worst movies of the decade list. The god-awful Camila Cabello's Cinderella movie that makes you completely want to strangle James Corden. I mean, that was the movie that finally broke me on him. It's just like, I can't take this dude anymore. What else? Deep Cover, Amsterdam, that ensemble from David O. Russell, which failed miserably. Lightyear is definitely a movie that should be on this list. The 355. Morbius, Madam Web, Kraven the Hunter, Home Team, Paws of Fury, Pinocchio, Ice Age, The Adventures of Buck Wild. Anyone But You, The Drop, White Man Can't Jump, Heart of Stone, Expendables 4, Fast X, The Exorcist, Strays, 80 for Brady, The Flash, Horizon, An American Saga, Borderlands, Moana 2, Argyle, The Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim, Joker Folie à Deux, Megalopolis, Unfrosted, and Harold and the Purple Crayon. So let's get right to it. The number one worst movie that I have ever seen in my entire life, and that one is simply Lucy. From director Luc Besson, this movie that, this was a mess of a film. So in this one, Scarlett Johansson plays a woman who's accidentally caught in a dark deal, turning the tables on her captors and transforming into a merciless warrior evolved beyond human logic. And look, Luc Besson was one of the pioneers of the 90s action movies with classic action favorites like La Femme Nikita, Leon the Professional, The Fifth Element. However, like most film pioneers of their time, there comes a point when that badass awesomeness has to slip away, and what films that they make when the general public basically wants to go like this.
What are you doing? No, seriously, what the fuck are you doing?
However, throughout this movie, people's general reactions would be more like this. Or at least someone like me who couldn't figure out what the hell was going on. My basic reaction to this was, man, fuck you. Like, I'm not even kidding, folks. I really felt like I lost a lot of my brain cells after watching this abomination of a movie. After I got out of the theater, I was literally questioning life itself and wondering how something this bad could make it to theaters and also be the big hit that this was. Because this was a gigantic hit at the box office. I don't know if it was just because Scarlett Johansson was in it and, you know, she's Black Widow. You know, everybody loves her. She's a great actress. But I don't know if that was it, but it's really, really bad, folks. How bad is it? Worse than Transcendence. I mean, think about it. This movie is worse than Transcendence. How the hell is that even possible? Transcendence, as bad of a movie that was at least trying to tell a story and give us reasons why the characters were doing what they were doing. They failed to explain it well, but at least they tried. This movie doesn't even try. Luc Besson, also the scriptwriter for this, just says, you know what? I don't want to tell you something new. Screw you, because that's what this feels like. A retread of a much better movie in Limitless, only not smartly written and not a good film. This is basically the two key elements of action films today. Car chases and shootouts, spliced in with pointless stock footage to show off the director's artistic BS, or as some people like to call it, symbolism. But not only that, the acting in this is so terrible. Scarlett Johansson is wasted in this movie, taking all the badassness that we got from her as the Black Widow, and just giving her nothing to do except be a lame action heroine with no emotions whatsoever. You're making Angelina Jolie and Salt look more awesome by comparison, and that movie sucked too. Like, the fact that this movie makes Salt look better than this movie is pure evil. And that's not any clearer with the addition of Morgan Freeman, which Morgan Freeman, man, like, you really just need to fire your scriptwriter, man, because I have footage of when Freeman's script guy brought him the script for this, and this was basically his reaction.
Shoot this motherfucker.
Okay, that was from Wanted, but honestly, I'd say the same thing if I was in this position, but the film also doesn't give Lucy anything to do. There's two scenes in the film where she has the bad guys right where she wants them, defenseless. And does she decide to kill them off like a normal person seeking revenge? No. She lets them go for no reason. And right from the get-go, you have failed right there and ruined the point of this revenge film. The worst part about this movie is that, like Transcendence, nothing is ever explained. They never talk about why this is happening to Lucy. They don't explain why she needs to do some of the stuff she does. They never explain what the purpose of her plan is. Nothing is ever explained in this goddamn movie. Luc Besson has no right to be happy with what he's made here. He should be ashamed of himself for this abolishment of his name and what he stands for. This movie sucks. Plain and simple. It's terribly acted. I mean, it's the story's all over the place. Nothing in it makes any sense whatsoever. It's one of the worst movies I've ever had the misfortune of sitting in a theater through. I didn't survive Aliens in the Attic. I didn't survive The Spirit. I almost didn't survive Sucker Punch or Transcendence, but the fact that I was able to just sit through this movie and just be like, this is the worst movie I've ever seen in my life. This film is pretentious, it's boring, it's terrible, nothing happens in this film. I have seen some bad movies in my time, but this was the worst of the worst. This one takes the cake for just how lazy and uninspired it is. Stay away from this movie, and I hope Luc Besson never comes back from this, which, considering what he's made since then, that's pretty much what's happened. This was the last notable thing that he did that was successful, and then everybody just completely forgot about it. Like, he needs to seek his doom after the atrocities that he did with this film. I mean, this film is a abysmal. This is, without a doubt, the worst movie I have ever seen in my entire effing life. Fuck this movie. Lucy, number one, my worst movie that I've ever seen in a movie theater. Worst movie I've ever seen in my entire life. So there you go. That's all 30 of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. And, next time I'll be back in a place that's not about to fall apart on me. But if you want to see some of the movies that I've looked at before, check out the last review I did for Transcendence. Check out the other videos I've done. And I will see you next time for the regular format of this show. I'll discuss something and, I'm going to get out of here because this place is about to cave in on me. So I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. I'll see you. Bye.